What is up, everybody? TheDoubleZTV's no goes man, double Z's man, whatever. It is Q&A time yet again. First Q&A since April. You guys submitted the questions. It's time for me to give you the answers. Let's kick it down right here, right now. First off, coming up from Nosy, sorry, I can't remember the pronunciation. What is your favorite WrestleMania moment of all time? To me, it is one of the first ones that I easily remember. Shawn Michaels kicking out of the Tombstone Piledriver WrestleMania 25. It was just a shocking moment. Insane hit on the finisher, like Shawn Michaels was skinning the cat, caught into the Tombstone, kick out at 2, crowd was on fire, and Undertaker's face told the entire story, and JR uttering the words, "I just had an out-of-body experience." Freaking epic. I mean, there are plenty of WrestleMania moments out there that are memorable, like Hogan slamming Andre. You got Shawn Michaels doing the splash off the ladder at WrestleMania 10. That mid-air spear to Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania 17, and so many more. This is one because, I actually got to see it not too long after the show aired, not all these years later compared to, WrestleMania 17 and all that. Alright, we got a bunch from Dustin. Get ready for this, folks. Alright, number 1. Are you familiar with longtime wrestling journalist Bill Apter? Indeed I am. If so, Mr. Apter was on an episode of Talk is Jericho, and Mr. Apter was giving his take on the 2007 Benoit family tragedy. According to Apter's theory, he believes Chris Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their son Daniel was killed in a mob-style murder. So anyway, do you think that the Benoit case should be reopened, or do you think it should be left alone? After almost 10 years, I think it's time to leave it alone. I mean, let's face it, we're not going to have all the answers. We can speculate on all this stuff, but we can't keep going back and trying to say if it should be reopened or closed. Happened almost 10 years ago. Nobody knows the full answer. There's no legit way to get a proper solution on what happened. We don't have proof that it was a freaking mob mentality. We don't have proof that Kevin Sullivan did it or any of that stuff. There are motives, but we don't have any solid evidence, so there's no reason to reopen it again. So we need to... It should be left alone now. We can speculate, but there's no reason to reopen it after all these years. Number 2, do you like Wrestling Jesus from YouTube? Because I don't like him. Yeah, I like WJ. He's a damn good guy. If people hate him, it's probably just because he's trolling them properly. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for 50 reasons why the IWC freaking sucks. Till next time, peace. Closest impersonation I could really do of WJ. I can't do that high-pitched thing. Puberty knocked me out. Do you think Dustin Nunn should become a wrestler? If you want to, dude, go for it. You just have to make sure you have passion for the business, passion for the character you're doing, and get ready to take all the abuse on your body, as well as a travel schedule. It's all about motivation and dedication. If you want to do it, go for it. What does heel Steven mean by "that's around the point"? Just asking, no offense to Steven. Well, I'm surprised you say no offense to him after that drama you guys had together. For that, it's pretty much that's besides the point, because I think he said it's pretty much a play off of a podcast that he knew on or iTunes or whatever. I can't remember the full story. I know he said it before in a video for what the whole "that's around the point" thing is all about. Have you ever played the Nintendo Wii U? I've got one, but I've never played it. I still don't even have any games for it yet. If I want to get the Pokemon games, or maybe the Pokken Tournament, but I definitely want to get the Super Smash Bros. Games there too. I just need some games to go off of. So if you guys got Wii U game recommendations, leave them in the comment section below. Do you think WWE and other wrestling companies are to blame for the deaths of wrestlers who died young over the years? No, it's the wrestlers. It's honestly the wrestlers. They're the ones who choose to do some stuff like that. They choose to do moves that are going to potentially get them concussions, like Chris Benoit doing the diving headbutt. They're the ones who are purposely injecting themselves with illegal dangerous chemicals like steroids and all that stuff, or going on painkillers and all that. They knew what they were getting into when they chose to go into the business. They are responsible for what they do outside the business regarding alcohol and drugs and all that stuff. It's on the wrestlers, not the business. Do you think WWE and other wrestling companies should be sued for paying the wrestlers of the past, like Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and so on, for getting hit in the head so much and for taking steroids? Well, I don't think they should be paying more money to the wrestlers, maybe paying more money towards their medical insurance for medical and life insurance purposes, then yes, but not for an overall salary. Because really, when you suffer that many injuries and concussions, they need help with health insurance and all that stuff. Do you think Owen Hart should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? Absolutely. And 4, have you ever played Street Fighter? I have, but I can't remember exactly which one. I remember it was for the Sega Genesis. Like, back when I lived in the trailer park about 10 years ago, we used to have a Sega Genesis, and we had one of the Street Fighter games, but I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. I'm going to have to look it up later on when I get the chance. Alright, now this one was kind of a question, but I thought I would bring it up. Coming from Austin, saying, have you ever thought of doing like a Fan Friday kind of thing, like play a game online with subscribers? I have been considering doing that. Like, if you guys have seen videos in the past, even though it was never a setup thing, I kind of recorded some past gameplay with some people on last gen with WWE 2K15 and all that stuff for online games. And the most recent one I did was with ASONs, where we did a Hell in a Cell match against each other, and we pre-planned that and all this stuff. Like, we didn't plan the outcome, but we planned on having the match. And we decided to do the video together. We planned on collabing for a while and did the video, and it was awesome. I still don't get how he got more views than I did on his video than mine, but that's whatever. So maybe, depending on how I can get stuff arranged, like, there's not always a guarantee about me being able to do, like, a constant Friday thing because of my work schedule, but something could come up. I mean, people want to play on the Xbox One or PS4 or Xbox 360 or anything like that. I got the consoles over here, so if you guys think that's a good idea, let me know in the comment section below. If it's wrestling gameplay, I'd put on this channel. Any others, I could easily go put on the gaming channel. So we'll see about that. Number 1, where do you work? I won't give the name mainly for 2 reasons. 1, for privacy reasons, and 2, the company I'm working for is going through a name change coming up. What I can tell you about it is it's a company in the automotive industry. I can pretty much tell that much, just for privacy reasons. What's the plan with your facial hair? I plan on having hair. I've had a lot of people getting on my case about my facial hair, like my family, some people in the comments, and my girlfriend. But, like, I prefer having facial hair rather than it just being cleanly shaven. It doesn't feel right for me. I mean, lately I've been kind of trimming down this part a little bit, like, as time goes on, so that it's not like a Daniel Bryan beard. Like, I just want to try growing out, see how it feels. You never know. How did you get the name TheDoubleZTV? I think I've touched on this one before, if memory serves me right, but what happened was when I had my original channel, which was Zunuga's a Man, which you guys hear in most of my intros nowadays, except for the DoubleZTV videos. Back then, I wanted to make wrestling talk videos because I wanted to bring something different to that channel. So what I did was, I was brainstorming some ideas for names, and the name DoubleZTV kind of rolled off the tongue, so I thought I would use that as pretty much the video series title idea for my wrestling talk videos. Then once that channel was getting shut down, I decided to make a new channel to be safe, to avoid copyright and all this stuff, because WWE's been on my case with copyright over the years. And I thought, why not just go with DoubleZTV, like, without any spaces there for username, but somebody took it, so I just put the in front of it. Ta-da! So it's all inspired by my original my original Wrestling Talk series. Do you accept sponsors? I would, but I don't think I've had any offers. Like, I get a bunch of spam emails from time to time from other companies in my inbox, but I don't know how legit they are. Like, talking about, like, advertising and stuff like that, but I've never received sponsorships, like somebody paying me to advertise their product. So if anybody's wondering about, like, the unboxings I do, I'm not paid for that stuff whatsoever. At all. I don't know how to get in touch with them. I don't know the deals, ins and outs. I have no experience with that whatsoever. No knowledge. I don't know. What is your favorite in-your-house pay-per-view? Canadian Stampede. A couple other ones I could give honorable mentions to are A Cold Day in Hell, Revenge of the Taker, and Backlash from 1999. Even though Revenge of the Taker had a couple bad matches, but you still had a bunch of solid matches on this show. Have you ever written music? I sing whenever I get bored, but written music, no. I can't write music worth a squat. I wish I could, though, because then I could make some other music on my electric guitar that I still gotta learn how to play, just for background music. But saying, like, I don't do it that often, but if I'm alone and bored, I'll do it. Are you ever going to release outtakes or scripts when recording? That would be hilarious. There's one I'm going to show you guys right at the next question, because it's going to be serious, but I did that, the one for the blooper one that I did. I know I did one for my old channel trailer when it had that white background, like I screwed up the green screen, and I had a side video for the bloopers and everything, so I did all that. But for other bloopers, Normally I just edit them out, then when I get the video done, I just delete it because I didn't find any purpose, but maybe I'll do a blooper reel video someday from this point forward. You never know, especially if the bloopers are really noteworthy. And finally, this is the one that I've been waiting to answer. Okay, Fabe has his kid on some videos. Have you ever thought about having your family on videos? Not on this channel. Now, the reason is because, let me show you guys a video moment, but let me quickly give a backstory. Recently, I've been trying to do a walkthrough on my gaming channel, like recording episodes for the walkthrough of Half-Life, the original one. And during the 4th episode, my grandfather kept interrupting, even though I had the door locked and closed and all that stuff. And I told him, even when I was recording the previous video, that I'm recording a video and all that stuff. But what did he do? He decided to interrupt, and this happened.
What?
I know de vuelta.
What?
Mira.
English?
Mira.
English!
Listen to me. We're gonna do anything?
I don't know.
You know what I want you to do? If we're gonna go out in public, you're not gonna look like that. You understand? If we're gonna go away, that's why you cannot sleep in the day and be up all night. You gotta change your schedule today.
I can't because of work, remember?
No, it has nothing to do with work, Michael.
Yeah, it does. That affects my sleep schedule,
No,
remember?
it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Go to bed right now.
No. Way to ruin my video.
Yeah. That's why, because my family has a tendency to interrupt a lot of videos. I think I might have to put a sign outside my door saying, recording in progress, do not disturb, because I can't keep taking these interruptions. Who inspired you to make YouTube videos? Honestly, nobody. When I first started on YouTube, it was just completely out of boredom. Because, like, I started, for those who, I've mentioned this a handful of times, but I started in August 2010. I was out of high school, not quite in college just yet. And one day, I was just bored, sitting in front of the computer over in the other room. And I was just completely bored and wondering what to do during my summer vacation. So that old netbook that I had, well, I still got it, but it's in the other room. It had a mini webcam on front, and I thought, why not just record a little video and put it on YouTube? Because the original channel I had, ZunoGoodsMan, I had it since 2008, but I didn't post until 2010. So I thought, record a bit of a video, because I didn't know about screen recording and all this stuff back then. Just recorded the screen, the big monitor, from my netbook laptop webcam, and just recorded it, put it on YouTube, and then it just started from there. So it was just completely out of boredom. But when it comes to wrestling talk videos, surprisingly, that was inspired by Sean's View Entertainment. This was back when he had his original channel before, like, I think he was still doing storylines and all that stuff, but it wasn't any, like, the reputation he has now. Because back then, he was doing wrestling talk videos, and they looked so easy that I thought, I could do that. And it just kept going from there. So when it comes to overall videos, boredom, wrestling talk, Sean's View Entertainment. Who's a wrestler you like, but everyone else doesn't like? Who's a wrestler you don't like, but everyone else does like? Oh, boy. One I like, but everyone else doesn't like. I'm between 3. I'm kind of still a fan of John Cena, even though that's kind of waned a little bit over the last couple years, but luckily my perspective has changed on him again now that he's really been out of the main event. So kind of Cena. Ziggler, I'm still kind of a fan of, even though the booking has just been questionable with him. But, like, I'm still a fan of him, think he's still really good in the ring. And, of course, Mr. Seth Rollins. I know he's got a lot of his detractors for being a bad champion and all that stuff. I'm going to put a theory on that coming up in a future video, but yeah, Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, John Cena are kind of 3 there. Wrestler you don't like, but everyone else does like. Oh, boy. I would say The Miz, but I don't think he has that many fans. Same thing with Sheamus. Of course, there's got to be that cop-out, because, of course, there are people who are a fan of his, but people know my history with him. Goldust. We know all the history. Thoughts on my channel, The Chase Allen. Have you ever seen any of my videos, and what's your video of mine? I've seen probably a couple of your videos, dude. I got a definite... Right when I'm done with this video and editing it, I will check out more of your videos, and I'll put some video links in the description for videos I recommend of chases, so get ready for that once this video gets uploaded, folks. Do you have a day job? No, I do not. I wish I did, but with the way my job is, it's not easy to try to have a day job and balance an ideal schedule. And plus, if I had a day job, I'd easily be doing pay-per-view reviews and Raws and SmackDowns, like, all the time. Favorite entrance? I'd have to definitely go with The Undertaker. That whole darkness feeling, slowly approaching the ring, lights up and all that stuff, hat off, eyes rolling back. Iconic as hell. Favorite entrance music? There are two that have always stuck out in my mind. Stone Cold's theme song, Glass Shattered, like when he returned in 2000 at Unforgiven 2000, played by a Serb. Absolutely amazing. And the other one I would give to is Drew McIntyre's entrance music, when that song, Broken Dreams by Shaman's Harvest. Excellently done. So it's a tie between both of those. Did WWE drop the ball on Vader by not having him win the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 1996? In a way, yes, mainly because of the whole fallout after that, because Shawn got pissed off that Vader did not move out of the way from an elbow drop, told him, move, move, kind of stomped on his head, and because of that, easily ruined his momentum. And I think Vader even said in a freaking interview that there were still plans for him to become WWF champion, then because of Vince McMahon, Vince later told him, okay, soon you'll be the Intercontinental champion. Vader's like, what? Kind of an odd thing. What pay-per-views do you believe had the wrong match in the main event, and what would you put in the main event of each show? I'm glad I thought this one out, because I wrote down these ones. Now, there are 4 pay-per-views where I feel they had the bad main event, but I couldn't think of a match that would have been a proper main event, especially upon a certain caliber and how the card would have been rearranged. 4 ones that I knew had bad main events that couldn't put a better match that was already on the card. King of the Ring 1995, because that was just a bad tag team match. I think it was Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow against Tatanka and Psycho Sid. SummerSlam 93, Lex Luger, Yokozuna. No Way Out 2003, The Rock, Hogan. Didn't have the same chemistry as WrestleMania 18. WrestleMania 27, Cena, Miz. Those are the 4 I could easily think of where it was a bad main event, but nothing could replace them. But now the ones that I can replace the main events for. WrestleMania 8. Switch Hogan, Sid with Savage Flair. Hogan, Sid, I'm glad that they had Ultimate Warrior come back, but they botched the finish. Match was just slow and sluggish and boring. And plus, it was like I think, wasn't it? Yeah, and so far, that main event was the only one to not end via pinfall or submission. The only one to end via disqualification. So I would have put Savage Flair at the end instead due to the build and all that stuff. And it would have been a great way to close the show, even with or without the Savage promo at the end. I would have ended with the promo, had a phenomenal way to close the show rather than Hogan Sid. King of the Ring 1994, I would have put Diesel and Brett rather than Piper Lawler. Definitely a bad choice by WWE there. SummerSlam 94, definitely Brett and Owen in the main event, not Undertaker. I know it was big hype for Undertaker's return, but Brett, Owen would have been the perfect way to end the show. The perfect way to end SummerSlam 94. WrestleMania 11. End with Shawn Michaels, Diesel. Not Bam Bam Bigelow, Lawrence Taylor. To think the main event of WrestleMania had a former football player beating a wrestler in the main event of a wrestling show. Bad. SummerSlam 95. Ended with Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon rather than King Mabel and Diesel. I mean, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, it was the WrestleMania 10 rematch. There was a good amount of hype for that. Diesel, Diesel, King Mabel? No. WrestleMania 13, put Stone Cold and Bret Hart in the main event rather than Psycho Sid and Undertaker. I know they were doing the whole main event thing for Undertaker to get a world title win at the main event of WrestleMania, but the match just fell flat. Definitely would have been a more fitting end with Stone Cold and Bret Hart at the main event instead. Oh, Rock Bottom in your house? Definitely end with Rock Mankind, not Stone Cold Undertaker. I get it, Stone Cold was still a big draw, but that match with the Undertaker Buried Alive match was just bad. Bad. WrestleMania 18. End with Hogan Rock, not Triple H Jericho. Especially when you guys look at the builds. I mean, Jericho, Triple H, it was more of Triple H and Stephanie with Jericho being a third wheel. And plus, Hogan Rock would have been the phenomenal way to close the show, especially with how the crowd was and how invested everybody was into the match. Judgment Day 2002 ended with Triple H, Chris Jericho rather than Hogan Undertaker. Hogan Undertaker was just bad across the board. Triple H, Chris Jericho was a great Hell in a Cell match. Would have been more fitting, especially since it was trying to finally close their build that had been happening since before WrestleMania. So I think it would have been a more fitting main event for the show. SummerSlam 2003 ended with Brock, Kurt Angle, not the Elimination Chamber, especially due to that Elimination Chamber match finish, which was absolutely bad. I mean, Goldberg's dominating everybody, one hammer shot, Goldberg's momentum is killed right there. End with the sour note to the show. Great American Bash 2004, end with JBL, Eddie Guerrero, not Undertaker, Dudley Boys. If you guys know the match stipulation for that main event, Undertaker, Dudley Boys, you'll know why. Royal Rumble 2006, end with Cena, Edge, not Angle, Mark Henry. I get it, they wanted to have the whole thing where post-match Undertaker returned with the lightning and all that stuff, but that was the main event that made people leave. Not a smart move. Vengeance 2006, end with Rob Van Dam, Edge, not DX and Spirit Squad. I get it, everybody was hyped for DX being back, but was a match that really hyped enough to be the main event? Honestly, no. Now we can say all the members of the Spirit Squad main evented a pay-per-view. WrestleMania 25, end with Shawn Michaels Undertaker, not Randy Orton Triple H. I love the build for Randy Orton Triple H, but when you look at the match stipulation, you knew the match was going to fall flat. Especially with all that heat built into the match. You guys would have probably preferred Shawn Michaels Undertaker instead, as what I have, due to the epicness of the match, the insane build, the story, and everything. Definitely would have been the more fitting main event, and plus, you wouldn't have had the crowd burnt out for the rest of the show after Shawn Michaels Undertaker if it was the main event rather than towards the middle late show. Hell in a Cell 2009, end with Randy Orton, John Cena, not DX Legacy. Once again, did DX's feud really seem like that worthy to a main event of pay-per-view? Especially against two younger guys that they were going to beat? No. Hell in a Cell 2010, pains me to say it, but I would have preferred Randy Orton Sheamus rather than Kane Undertaker main event. Kane Undertaker was just sloppy, slow, and happened like 10 years too late. Way too late to have this match, just sluggish, slow, boring, stale. Randy Orton Sheamus, even though they've never had really the best chemistry in terms of like storytelling and all that stuff, better than the World Heavyweight title main event. And I think that was like the last ever pay-per-view to have the World Heavyweight title as a main event of a show. For, well, pay-per-view, but freaking sad. DLC 2010, end with the World Heavyweight Championship main event. Edge, Alberto Del Rio, Kane, and Rey Mysterio TLC match rather than Cena Wade. Hands down. Then the final three, Elimination Chamber 2012, end with the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, not Cena Kane. Not Cena Kane. Not that feud that was all built on embrace the hate. No. Over the Limit 2012, end with CM Punk Daniel Bryan, not Cena Laurinaitis. If the whole thing with Cena main eventing made a bit more sense at No Way Out 2012 when you faced Big Show with John Laurinaitis' job on the line, but not in a match against John Laurinaitis at Over the Limit 2012. Especially with it being the worst worked pay-per-view match of 2012, and probably the worst main event in WWE history. And Survivor Series 2013 ended with Cena Alberto Del Rio, not Big Show Randy Orton. Nobody wanted to see Big Show Randy Orton in the main event. Number 3, should WWE give someone a Sterling Archer-like persona? If so, who would you like to see portray that gimmick? I would actually like to see that. I can picture now, it's all like, do you want to get pinned? Because that's how you get pinned. I think that could have been a cool... I could kind of picture that for Damien Sandow, like if he was a manager instead, because the whole intellectual savior of the masses really using his high IQ, I think they could have added that, like adding some wisdom in there, kind of like Sterling Archer. So I could kind of, if Damien Sandow was around, I could have seen a bit of a play of the character put on a Sandow, kind of acting like Sterling Archer there, especially with the intelligence and all that stuff. What 3 things would you most want changed or added in WWE 2K16 or want in 2K17? I'm going to go all through 2K17 because 2K16, since we're drawing the end of it, I don't think there's really any point in brushing on that. 2K17, far more entrances. Far more, especially championship entrances. Like, there are plenty of entrances you guys had in the past games for WWE, like championship entrances you could put in now. You could put Chris Jericho's, like, freaking Undisputed Championship entrance there in the game. You could put Big Show's championship entrances in there, like when he was ECW champion or tag team champions with Kane and all that stuff. Plenty more entrances in there. Also, add in Match Creator. I want to be able to do a 1-hour Iron Man Hell in a Cell match with like freaking table breaks and last man standing rules and all that stuff into one match. So absolutely add in Match Creator as well as bring back special guest referee, because if you guys remember Next Gen, they don't have special guest referee, so you can't open that main Hell in a Cell door for anything. I want to see them make one called Create a Tag Team Move. We do not want to keep seeing the same double team move, just a drop to hold and an elbow drop to the back. You have plenty of options of what you can do for tag team moves that could be put into a game. To create a tag team move is a definitely must-see. Top 10 favorite music albums of all time. For those who don't know, I'm not, like, I love listening to music, especially from the 60s and the 80s. I don't have a lot of albums. In fact, the albums I've got right here, I know I've got, like, believe it or not, back then I used to listen to hip-hop stuff, so I used to listen to the original Usher album. I got that in the other room somewhere. But the albums I got in front of me here, I got, like, Switchfoot's original, the Beautiful Letdown album, Green Day's Warning album, and I've got their album American Idiot on my wish list coming up for Amazon. Like, I could have at one point my family thought, oh, it's too raunchy of language, and they wouldn't let me keep it back when I was younger. I got Who We Are by Lifehouse, Straight Outta Linwood by Weird Al. For some reason, I still have a couple Backstreet Boys albums. Hard to believe I still got this one. I think there's like a Burger King one from a long time ago. And the original Millennium album from 2000. Even though the screen was all cracked, I never thought I'd have albums for this long. I've already got 3 of the 4 albums Daughtry's released. I gotta get their one Baptized. And I've got all the Breaking Benjamin albums, so I don't think I have enough albums to make a top 10. Like, maybe if someday I'll make a video on it on my vlogging channel for top 10 albums, but I gotta start collecting on that first. Like, if there are any albums I would recommend, like, definitely go with Dear Agony by Breaking Benjamin. The only song I did not like on there was Anthem of the Angels. Everything else was phenomenal. I mean, Into the Nothing, Without You, Lights Out, Fade Away, Crawl, everything else is just freaking phenomenal. And finally, what changes would you make to YouTube if you ran the site? First off, give the block button an actual purpose. If it were up to me, I would actually make 2 specific things. You can't dislike a video without leaving a comment on why, because if YouTube wants content creators to get better and everything, just having somebody be able to leave a dislike without a constructive criticism comment on there is not really constructive criticism, because you're not saying why you're disliking the video, so you're not really helping somebody in the long run with what they could improve on or why you're disliking it. Make sure the block button, pretty much kind of like Facebook's block feature, where if you block somebody, they can't find your channel or your videos as long as they're logged into the account that you blocked to begin with. It's like, what's the point of having the block feature if all it's really going to probably do is just stop them from commenting? It's not going to stop them from stalking your channel. And plus, what if you got stalkers on your freaking videos, or you got people that are doing just to mass dislike your videos? Then what good is the block button if it's not going to stop any of that stuff to begin with if you got people harassing you? Also, probably have a bit of a change to the copyright rules, where if somebody's stealing your video, even if, well, this is the personal preference, that if somebody steals your video, even if it's all copyright material, as long as you can prove that it's like your watermark on there and somebody steals it from you, you should be able to somehow help get that video taken down too. Like, I've got an entire playlist of videos that have been stolen from me over the years. It's like over 50 videos. I wish I could somehow be able to put a stop to those videos, even though they're copyright material like WWE. I still got proof that those videos were posted by me originally because I got my watermarks on them. I mean, hell, I've got somebody who freaking stole one of my videos from Daily Motion. He was trying to deny he stole my video, even though it said Z WWE right in the top right corner of the video. And he still tried to deny it. It's like, you're a video thief. I'm not a video thief. It's like, my username is right there, dipshit. And also, find a way to help channels to be able to get more exposure and grow more. I mean, they're putting way too much focus on, like, freaking late night talk shows. I do not want to keep seeing all these ads for, like, Conan O'Brien and Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and all that stuff. Show me content from channels I've never heard of. Channels that you want to see, that you feel produce quality content and you want to see grow. I mean, channels like myself can't easily grow because channels like mine and others that talk wrestling can't really get our names out there compared to, like, channels that are about gameplay and all that stuff. And especially when you have other channels that we fall into the shadows of. So find a way to help really get the little channels more exposure to help grow more, because the more all channels grow, and especially if they're making money, the more money YouTube makes. Don't you think they want more money? So those are just some of the changes I could easily think off the top of my head, but that is it for the Q&A video. Thank you guys very much for leaving your questions. I'll probably do another Q&A video a few months from now. I don't want to do it too many times throughout the year because I don't want to be oversaturating me like 3 or 4 times a year. So next one may be December. You guys will know when I make the next Q&A announcement video. But thank you to everybody for leaving your questions. Everybody who left questions, their links to their channels are all in the description below. And I'm also going to put some of Chase Allen's videos in there that I recommend you guys check out. But anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for 2,000 subscribers, and peace out, folks.